that I discussed with the President yesterday. And I discussed this with UP very, how do you call it, briefly about a year ago. I understand the UP and maybe other SUCs, you have a university food service. You buy food. You have a budget. I understand you do public bidding so that the university food service, which provides meals, for the dorms. And I'd like the SUCs to look at this too. The discussions that we had with President Marcos Jr. the other day, Thursday morning, was on the full implementation of the Sagip-Saka Act. He intends to issue an executive order wherein national and local government entities will implement the RA 11321 to purchase food, agriculture products, fruits, vegetables, chicken, pork, rice, directly from farmers or fisherfolk exempted from public bidding by way of a negotiated contract. I say this because precisely the DOH, they have hospitals. The BJMP and the Bucor are jails that buy food and agri products. Calamity relief distribution. But let's talk about food. Army camps have mess halls. PNP stations purchase food every day. And so your university food service and perhaps many other SUCs have tie-ups, bid publicly to purchase food and other agriculture products. So I don't have to have the answers now, but I'd like to get the SUCs to present to us, submit to us plans as to how they intend to, and the UP system, to implement the law so that your university's food service will now enter into negotiated contracts perhaps with farmers, co-ops in Bulacan or in Laguna for your food requirements at negotiated processes exempted from public bidding. So I hope, Mr. Chairman, perhaps during plenary, the SUCs and the UP can provide us your plan. The executive order, we hope to be able to be issued by the President perhaps by the latest mid-November. The GPPB will finalize the rules regarding government purchases directly from farmers and fisherfolk organizations. As soon as that is made available, we will provide you copies. They committed to having the resolution issued this month. So that by plenary in November, I'm placing everyone on notice, the SUCs, the CHED, how do you intend to implement the executive order that will call for the full implementation of the Republic Act 11321. I will do the same for the DOH, for the DOJ, the DILG, the DSWD, the DepEd, and other agencies that procure food. And so I'm placing everyone on notice that when plenary debates come, I will ask for those plans. For the record, Mr. President, it's really not a question. It's more of a manifestation and a point of information and a request for a submission of their plans for the full implementation of the Republic Act 11321. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next will be Senator Bang.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so marami na tayo na pag-usapan, no? So unang-una yung cost per student na nais natin makita. Mahalaga po yan, yung SUCs, cost per student, the low and the high, and to find out the difference. Napag-usapan po natin yung deficiency na binanggit rin sa akin ni Dr. Ronquillo noon, na mukhang meron na tayong solusyon. hopefully moving forward, we can also address that. Just a few more questions, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk about tests. Is it the right time to talk about tests, or hintayin natin yung CHED presentation?
Hintayin na lang natin yung CHED presentation.
Okay. So just for everyone's information, and I'm telegraphing my questions for Chairman Agrupis, yung test in 2024 was 23.4 billion. Yung test in 2025 was 21.7 billion, down by 1.7 billion. Itong 2026, it's now 20.7 billion, down again by 1 billion. Bakit ang trending ho natin ay pababa? Ito po yung subsidy sa mga estudyante natin, both public and private universities. Our poor but deserving students need to have this. I know that we've corrected na yung 4P students ay meron na. No? Thank you, Senator Gatchalian and Secretary Gatchalian for working on that. Pero bakit ito pababa? Hindi ho ito katanggap-tanggap na pababa yung ating binibigay na scholarship sa mga kabataan natin. And I will move, Mr. Chairman, to restore this to the 2024, if not higher. But for the CHED hearing, Chairperson Agrupis, gusto ko malaman, bakit tayo pumapayag na pababa yung test? Do you want to give us a answer now, or hihintayin natin yung hearing po ninyo? Antayin na lang natin. BBM, bakit ito pababa? Kayo po, baka gusto nyo pong sagutin, bakit ito pababa? Ang rami-raming tumataas. Our budget has increased, but our test is going down. Yes, ma'am.
Chair Agrupis.
Yes, Chair po. Chair wants to answer next time. Okay lang naman. This is not the CHED hearing. But
Okay.
DBM.
Si DBM.
Mr. Chair, inasmuch as the budget utilization rate po of CHED for TES as of December 31st, 2024, it's only 33% po. The DBM can only recommend up to the NEP level, considering the capacity of CHED to utilize the fund and in view of the limited physical space po.
Director Labastilla, alam niyo po ba na napakaraming estudyante naghahanap ng scholarship? Alam niyo po ba na yung number one reason for dropping out is because of costs, unrelated to tuition, at kahit yung mga estudyante sa private university, naghahanap rin sila ng tulong. So, I don't think utilization is a proper excuse para dito. Anyway, we will find out in the CHED hearing, Chairperson Agrupis, ano nangyari dito sa test. I know you're also drafting new guidelines. Pero I'm telling you now, Director Labastilla, I will not stand for it na pababa po yung scholarships ng gobyerno. Especially kung nagbibigay tayo ng ayuda na scholarship rin naman yung purpose. Yung scholarship po na yun, dumadaan sa mga politiko. Yung scholarship na ito, dumadaan sa mga eskwelahan at dumadaan sa mga ahensya. I would prefer that we give scholarships through the institutions than through politicians' offices. So hindi ho tayo papayag na yung test na institutional scholarship ay pababa, habang yung ibang scholarship na dumadaan sa mga politician ang tumataas. No, hindi ho talaga tayo papayag. So we will hold off on this discussion, Chairperson Agrupis. I hope you will be with me in this drive to support more scholarships through our institutions.
Yeah, that is an assurance, Senator.
Thank you, Chairperson. Sige po. Okay, next. Opt-out. Ilan po ang, Dr. Rinquillo, ilang SUCs ang may opt-out program?
As far as our records concerned, Mr. Chair, I think we don't have opt-out.
We do have one school. I know there's one school that does an opt-out program. Sa inyo po, meron po bang, sa pagkakaalam po ninyo, meron po bang opt-out program?
Sa akin ng pagkakaalam, wala kami na nakikitang figure.
Let me be clear about this provision, okay? Ang opt-out program po ay nasa RA 10931. It is voluntary in nature. No? It is not meant to create another class of students who will pay. Okay? Hindi po yan yung intensyon ng opt-out provision. Ang opt-out po ay nandyan para sa mga estudyante na sa palagay naman po nila, may kaya po sila, palagay ng magulang nila, willing po sila magbayad ng karampatang tuition fee. No? We know that there are some schools like UP, Attorney Gigil, na meron talagang estudyante na may kaya. Tama naman, di ba? Meron kayong opt-out sa UP?
Very few, like maybe 10 or 6.
10 students.
Yung mga gano'n. And most of the time, they're
Can
discouraged.
you speak into the mic, sir?
Most of the time, many want to opt out, but they're discouraged by the bureaucracy. Magbabayad na kami. Since we're all So, at saka nawiwirduhan din yung, magbabayad ka. But anyway, we do have a very few
Who do opt out?
this was based on last year's figure. I didn't expect this question to appear today, but if I remember correctly, I can count them by the number of just my two hands.
Okay. Nabuo po yung opt-out program because during the deliberation for RA 10931, napag-usapan na on one hand, ayaw nating dumaan sa napakahabang bureaucracia yung mga estudyante para makakuha ng scholarship. Okay? In fact, at that time, and this is 2017, the cost to implement that would have been 1 billion pesos rin naman to implement a scholarship program that huge, no? So, kumbaga, yung gusto mong isave, yung gagastusin mo, isave mo na lang, bigyan mo na lang ng scholarship yung mga kabataan. But we also knew na meron talagang mga kabataan na makakapasok na hindi talaga masasabing mahirap, no? At masasabing may kaya. And at that time, the determination was about 10% would not fall under the bottom 8 decile. Tama ba to, Chairman Gatchalian? Yun yung usapan natin noon, no? They would be above the bottom 8 decile. So, ginawa yung provision para sa mga kabataang yun at sa pamilya nila na kung makapasok naman sila sa Batangas State, sa UP, may option silang mag-opt out and pay the tuition, no? So, on one hand, this was meant to be voluntary. On the other hand, this was meant for a very few set of students, very, very small set of students, no? Ito pong suggestion ko. Kung meron naman po kayo mga estudyante na mga may kaya naman, no? Pumapasok po sa eskwelahan, nagda-drive, no? Pumapasok po sa eskwelahan, halata namang may kaya talaga. O may driver pa daw, sabi ni Dr. Legaspi. Baka po pwedeng magbuo po tayo ng opt-out program sa inyong mga eskwelahan. No? Kasi the program was really meant for our students na nangangailangan. Yung nangangailangan po, hindi lang naman po yan yung 4-piece. Kasi kahit po yung middle class, nangangailangan din naman. Kahit po yung may mga magulang na may mga trabaho, but they're regular employees or hindi naman sila management, kailangan pa rin po nila ng tulong. So we're talking about the set na, sabi ko nga, kung kayo yung nagmamaneho o may driver kayo papuntang UP or Batangas State, siguro naman pwede kayo mag-opt out. And I really suggest this, maybe we can start pushing this. And Attorney Jimenez, baka we can start with UP na alam nating of all of the SUCs, baka dyan yung pinakamaraming mga may kaya rin, no? Hindi naman ho nakakahiya. In fact, I was wondering, dapat the social pressure should be to pay.
Yes.
The social pressure should be, hindi dapat yung hindi ka magbabayad. Dapat nga, may social pressure. Kung may kaya ka, dapat nagbabayad ka. No? So, I just want to clarify that this program was created for that small set of students na may kaya who are in our SUCs. But secondly, it should always be voluntary. Hindi ho dapat siya pinipili ng eskwelahan kung sino yung mag-opt out. Hindi ho dapat ganoon. Hindi din siya meant to create a separate class of students who are able to enroll because they're able to pay, because that circumvents the spirit of RA 10931. I just want to make that clear for everyone. Attorney Jimenez.
Yes, we have here a disaggregated figure of students who are paying. For 2024, first semester, 10% are paying. Second semester, 9%, and mid-year, summer, 10%. But these are disaggregated figures. These are students. Very few actually ang nag-opt out though they're qualified. Many of these nag-exceed na or the second degree na sila. Meron kasing limits eh. So I'm asking it to be disaggregated now, no? Later on. So and then just for your information, Mr. Chair, about 50% of UP students have incomes of over 500,000 up. And about 10% would have 1 million up. Ang 1 million po, hindi po mayaman yun eh. Parang government, and then 10% don't even have any proof of any income because they're so poor, wala talagang record, no? So divided yan, 10% about no record at all of any income, mahihirap talaga. And then 10% would be 200,000, 300,000, 10%, and then 50% up 500,000. I don't know how many, if there are billionaires though, but there could be maybe a few. But I would like to erase that figure na may yaman ng mga UP.
Okay. So let me correct that, no? So, but definitely, meron dyang mga may sasakyan, may driver,
Marami po.
marami rin, di ba?
Mga